A man can settle a debt with land, cattle, even the last dollar in his pocket. But the moment he pays with another human being, the debt belongs to his soul. The wagon reached Nathan Cole's ranch just before sundown. Dust rolled behind it in a long red veil, glowing beneath the dying Arizona light. Nathan stood beside the corral with one hand resting on a fence post, watching 3 riders follow the wagon through the open gate. He knew the man in front, Silas Whitmore, and Silas never rode 30 miles to bring good news. Before we continue, tell me, where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments. And if you believe justice can ride silent, hit like and follow. Now, back to the story. Whitmore dismounted slowly, brushing dust from his black coat. Cole. Nathan said nothing. Then the wagon door opened. A woman stepped down. Apache, maybe 27. Long black hair tied loosely behind her shoulders. A faded brown dress beneath a worn blanket. Her wrists were free, but the way she stood told Nathan she had learned not to mistake that for freedom. Her eyes moved first to the horses, then the gate, then Nathan, measuring distance. Maya had been doing that for 2 days. Every road, every rifle, every man. Whitmore smiled as if he were delivering a new saddle. Your debt is settled. Nathan's gaze shifted toward him. What debt? Whitmore reached inside his coat and produced a folded ledger page. $600 transferred against what you owe me. Then he nodded toward Maya. She's yours. The words settled over the yard heavier than gun smoke. One of Whitmore's riders looked away. Maya did not. She kept her eyes on Nathan. That frightened Nathan more. There was no pleading in them, only preparation. Nathan took the paper. At the bottom sat his name, Nathan Cole. Beside it, a number. And beneath that, collateral transferred. He read the line twice. Whitmore lowered his voice. Her people owed a trading account. No horses left. No silver. So arrangements were made. Nathan looked at Maya. She understood enough English. Enough to hear yours. Enough to know what men believed that word allowed them to do. Whitmore held out a small silver token. Nathan recognized neither the mark nor the weight of it, but Maya did. Her face changed. Only slightly. Nathan noticed. He always noticed small things. Whitmore dropped the token into Nathan's palm. There. Proper and settled. Maya finally spoke. Her English was quiet. If you touch me, Nathan looked up. She held his gaze. One of us will bleed. Whitmore laughed. Nathan didn't. He walked toward the porch. Maya's shoulders tightened. Nathan reached the table beside the door. His revolver lay there. For the first time, fear moved across her face. Nathan picked up the gun, checked the cylinder, then turned around. Maya stared at him. Nathan crossed the yard, stopped 6 feet away, and placed the revolver on an empty feed crate between them. Then he pushed it toward her. Whitmore's smile disappeared. Nathan's voice stayed low. If you think you need it tonight, he looked at Maya, keep it. For the first time since the wagon arrived, nobody moved. And Maya realized the most dangerous thing about Nathan Cole might be that he was nothing like the man she had prepared herself to hate. By sunrise, Maya had decided Nathan Cole was either the strangest man in Arizona or the most patient liar she had ever met. The revolver remained where he had left it, on the feed crate, within her reach. Loaded. Nathan had slept in the barn. She knew because she had stayed awake most of the night, listening. Wind against the shutters. A horse shifting in its stall. The soft scrape of boots across packed earth sometime after midnight. But no footsteps came toward her room. No hand tested the door. No voice called her name. Nothing. That silence unsettled her more than force would have. Men who wanted something usually made their wanting known. Nathan did not. When Maya stepped outside, morning light had turned the ranch pale gold. Cold air carried the smell of coffee, horse sweat, and dry cedar smoke. A bay mare stood saddled near the porch. Beside it sat a canteen, a small sack of dried meat, bread wrapped in cloth. Maya stopped. Nathan was repairing a broken section of fence 20 yards away. He did not turn around. The horse is sound, he said. Maya looked toward the eastern trail. Open country. Low hills. A road disappearing into dust. You are giving it to me? Nathan drove a nail into the fence. No, she narrowed her eyes. Then what? Borrowing. Another strike. You return it if you want. Maya looked at the mare again. And if I do not? Nathan shrugged. Then I'll be short one horse. No smile. No bargain. That made her angry. Kindness was easier to understand when it came with a price. She walked toward him. What do you want? Nathan finally looked at her. Breakfast would be useful. Maya stared. Nathan nodded toward the house. For you. Not me. She hated the way that answer disarmed her. Still, she did not move toward the food. Instead, she walked to the hitching rail and checked the saddle herself. Straps. Blanket. Bit. No trick. Then she checked the canteen. Water. Clean. Nathan watched from a distance, saying nothing. Maya mounted. The mare shifted beneath her. For one brief moment, something inside her loosened. The gate stood open. No lock. No chain. No man blocking the road. Nathan turned back to the fence. Maya almost hated him for that too. She pressed her heels into the mare and rode east. 50 yards. 100. Then 200. The ranch grew smaller behind her. Freedom had a sound. Hooves against hard earth. Wind past her ears. Breath returning to her chest. Then Maya saw movement on the ridge. 3 riders. Still. Watching. She slowed. One wore Whitmore's gray coat. Another carried a rifle across his saddle. The third pointed down toward her. Maya's stomach went cold. She turned south. Another rider appeared near the wash. Then another. Not chasing. Waiting. Closing roads without firing a shot. Maya pulled the mare hard and looked back toward Nathan's ranch. He was standing by the fence now, watching her. Not surprised. That was when she understood. He had known. She rode back fast, dust boiling behind her. Nathan did not move as she approached. Maya dismounted before the mare fully stopped. You knew they were there. Yes. Her hand moved toward the revolver tucked beneath her blanket. Why did you let me ride out? Nathan met her eyes. Because you had to see the road was yours. He glanced toward the distant ridge, even if Whitmore decided otherwise. Maya looked past him at the little ranch. The unlocked door, the food, the horse, the man who had given her every chance to leave, and the men outside who had never intended to let her go. For the first time, the ranch did not look like a prison. It looked like the only place where nobody was trying to own her. The first thing Maya found in Nathan Cole's house was proof that Silas Whitmore had lied. The second thing was worse. Morning heat pressed against the windows by the time Nathan rode toward the north pasture. He had left without asking where she planned to go, without checking whether the revolver was still beneath her blanket, without telling her not to touch anything. That last part bothered her. Men who claimed ownership usually guarded their papers more carefully than their women. Maya stood alone in the kitchen, listening to the slow ticking of a brass clock. Coffee had gone cold beside the stove. Dust moved through a thin blade of sunlight near the floor. The house smelled like leather, smoke, and old pine. Nothing expensive. Nothing soft. Nothing that looked like a man hiding $600 worth of anything. Her eyes moved to the desk. The ledger was there. Brown leather. Iron clasp. The same book Whitmore had opened when he brought her to the ranch. Maya crossed the room. She told herself she was looking for a way out. Not answers. Answers were dangerous. They made people hesitate. She opened the book. Names. Numbers. Cattle. Seed. Tools. Interest. Debt. Then she found hers. Maya. No family name. No tribe. Just one word. Beside it, $600. Her throat tightened. Below that, transferred to Nathan Cole. She stared until the ink blurred. So that was the truth. Not kindness. Not freedom. A purchase. Maybe Nathan had simply decided patience would make obedience easier. Maya heard a horse outside. Nathan. She closed the ledger too late. The door opened. He stepped inside carrying a broken length of harness. His eyes went to the book, then to her. Neither spoke. Maya grabbed the ledger and threw it. It struck his chest and fell open on the floor. There. Nathan looked down. You said I could leave. You can. You paid $600 for me. Nathan's face changed. Not guilt. Confusion. He bent slowly and picked up the book. Maya's hand moved beneath her blanket. His eyes noticed. He did not step closer. Nathan turned back several pages, then stopped. His jaw tightened. He set the ledger on the table and pointed. Maya did not move. Read it. I read enough. Read that. She came closer. One step, then another. Her eyes found the line beneath his name. Nathan Cole. $1,840 owed to Silas Whitmore. Maya looked up. Nathan's voice stayed quiet. If you were payment, he tapped the number. Why do I still owe him every dollar? Silence filled the room. Maya looked back at the pages. Whitmore's marks were everywhere. Interest added. Deadlines moved. Amounts crossed out and rewritten. Then she saw a line at the bottom, smaller than the rest. Fresh ink. Collateral transferred. Nathan stared at it. His face went still. Too still. You've never seen that before, Maya said. No, when was it written? Nathan rubbed his thumb across the ink. A faint smear stained his skin. Recently. Maya felt cold despite the heat. Whitmore had not settled the debt. He had created something else. A story. One that made Nathan look like a buyer. One that made Maya look like property. And one that would become true if enough people believed the paper. Nathan closed the ledger. Whitmore wants something. Maya looked at him. He already has something. Nathan's eyes lifted. What? She nodded toward the open window. Beyond it, his fields stretched beneath the hard Arizona sun. His cattle, his barn, his land. Nathan followed her gaze. For the first time, Maya saw fear enter his face. Not fear for himself. Recognition. Whitmore had not brought her there to pay a debt. He had brought her there to create one. And whatever came next would cost far more than $600. By noon, Nathan and Maya understood the trap. They just did not yet understand how deep it went. The heat had turned the yard white with glare. Somewhere beyond the barn, a loose sheet of tin knocked against wood in the wind. Once, twice, then silence again. Nathan stood at the kitchen table, with Whitmore's ledger open beneath both hands. Maya remained across from him, not beside him. Not yet. He wants your land, she said. Nathan looked toward the window. The north field shimmered beneath the sun. Beyond it, a narrow line of cottonwoods marked the creek. His father had dug the first well there. His mother had planted the trees. Everything Nathan owned could be measured from that window. That's not enough, he said. Maya frowned. Nathan tapped the page. If Whitmore only wanted the ranch, he could call the debt. Then why bring me? Nathan closed the ledger. Because taking land from a poor rancher makes a man look greedy. His eyes moved to hers. But taking land from a man accused of buying an Apache woman, Maya's expression hardened, makes him look righteous. Nathan nodded. The room seemed smaller after that. Whitmore had built the trap carefully. If Maya stayed, Nathan could be accused of treating her as property. If Maya left, Whitmore could claim Nathan had destroyed or released collateral tied to a legal debt. Either way, Nathan would be dragged before men who had already decided which story they preferred. Maya looked down at the page. And me? Nathan's voice became colder. Your proof. The word cut deeper than he intended. Maya's face changed. Nathan saw it immediately. That came out wrong. No, she stared at the ink. It came out true. For a few seconds, only the clock spoke. Nathan reached for the ledger. Maya placed her hand on it first. Their fingers nearly touched. Both stopped. She pulled back. Nathan did the same. Small things mattered now, more than either wanted to admit. There must be another copy, Maya said. Nathan looked at her. Of the transfer? Of everything. She pointed at Whitmore's numbers. If he changes ink here, he changes ink elsewhere. Nathan considered that. The town clerk keeps filed notes for land claims and secured debts. How far? Half a day. Maya glanced toward the ridge. Whitmore's riders were still out there, watching. Nathan saw her looking. We don't ride straight into them. We. The word hung between them. Nathan met her eyes. You know Whitmore's men. You know the town. Hey. Beat. Maya folded her arms. That does not make us friends. No, Nathan reached for his hat. It makes us inconvenient to the same man. Something almost like a smile touched her mouth. Almost. Then hoofbeats sounded outside. Slow. Deliberate. One rider. Nathan moved toward the porch. Maya followed. A boy no older than 15 sat on a sweating horse near the gate. He held an envelope. Message for Cole. Nathan took it. The boy left without waiting. The wax seal bore Whitmore's mark. Nathan broke it. Read. His face went still. Maya watched him. What? Nathan handed her the paper. 3 lines. Failure to maintain transferred collateral. Violation of secured agreement. Property review at sundown tomorrow. Maya read it twice. Then looked at Nathan. He already filed it. Nathan nodded. Tomorrow evening, Whitmore would come with paperwork. Maybe a deputy. Maybe witnesses. Maybe enough men to make a lie look respectable. Maya folded the letter carefully, then handed it back. For the first time, she stepped to Nathan's side instead of standing across from him. Then we find the truth before sundown. Nathan looked at her. Dust moved through the yard between them and the open gate. 2 days earlier, she had arrived as payment. Now they understood the uglier truth. Neither of them had been the payment. They were both the leverage. Trust did not arrive between Nathan Cole and Maya like lightning. It came in smaller things. Quiet things. The kind nobody noticed unless they had spent too long expecting harm. They left before sunrise. Nathan took the gray gelding. Maya rode the bay mare he had offered her the first morning. Neither spoke much. The desert was still cold, and the eastern sky carried a thin red line above the mesas. Leather creaked beneath them. Hooves struck stone. Somewhere far off, a coyote called once and went silent. They could not take the main road. Whitmore's men would be watching it. So Nathan led them north through a dry wash, then west toward an abandoned cattle trail that curved behind the ridge. Maya watched him, not because she feared he would betray her. Not entirely. She watched because people revealed themselves when they thought no one cared. Near mid-morning, Nathan stopped beside a shallow creek. The horses drank first. Maya noticed that. He filled her canteen before his own. She noticed that too. "You always do that?" she asked. Nathan looked over. "What? Take care of everything else first." He shrugged. Horses complain less. Maya almost smiled. Almost. They reached an old line shack by noon and waited there while two riders passed along the ridge. The room was barely more than 4 walls and a roof. Nathan found coffee in a tin, burned nearly black. He poured 2 cups. Maya took hers. 1 sip. She frowned. Nathan saw it. "What? Too bitter." He said nothing. The next morning, when they stopped again, he put a little sugar in her cup before handing it over. Maya stared at it. Nathan had already turned away. That disturbed her more than she expected. Men often remembered what a woman disliked when they wanted something from her. Nathan remembered and asked for nothing. Later, the bay mare stumbled on loose stone. Maya dismounted immediately. A leather strap beneath the saddle had torn. Nathan crouched beside it. "Need to replace that." Maya took the strap from his hands. "No." She sat beneath a cottonwood and worked the leather with a small bone, all from her pouch. Her fingers moved quickly. Nathan watched for a moment. "You've done that before." "My brother could break anything made by human hands." Nathan nodded. "Sounds talented." This time Maya did smile. Small. Gone quickly. But Nathan saw it. That evening, they camped beneath a low ridge instead of risking the trail after dark. The temperature fell hard. Nathan built a small fire. Maya wrapped herself in her blanket. Then she noticed him stand. He carried his second blanket toward the horses. A young mare tethered nearby was trembling in the cold. Nathan covered the animal, then returned to the fire without one for himself. Maya watched him sit. "You will freeze." "I've been colder." "That is foolish." "Probably." She studied him across the flames. Orange light moved over his face. No audience. No bargain. No reason to pretend. That was the part she could not dismiss. She took one side of her blanket and held it out. Nathan looked. At it. Then at her. "Don't make meaning from it," Maya said. He sat beside her. "I wasn't planning to." For a while, neither spoke. The wind moved over the ridge. The horses settled. And somewhere between the cold, the fire, and the silence, Maya realized something she had not wanted to know. She was no longer waiting for Nathan Cole to prove he was dangerous. She was beginning to fear he might prove he was good. The silver token had been in Nathan Cole's pocket for 3 days before Maya finally asked to see it. They had reached town just after noon. The clerk's office was closed. A handwritten notice hung crooked on the door. "Back tomorrow." Nathan stared at it longer than necessary. Maya did not curse. She had learned silence could carry more weight. So they returned to the ranch before dark with no copy, no witness, and less than a day before Whitmore came for the land. Changed. My grandfather spoke of a white rancher who sheltered 3 Apache families during a winter storm. Nathan looked at her. Before I was born. She touched the token. He gave them silver pieces so other settlers would know they traveled under his protection. Nathan sat slowly. The room became very quiet. Whitmore had not created that token. He had stolen its meaning. A promise of shelter had been turned into proof of ownership. A sign of protection had been dragged into a debt ledger. Maya stared at the silver in her palm. Where would Whitmore get this? Nathan's face hardened. My father's papers were sold after he died. To whom? Nathan already knew. He stood. Whitmore bought half the estate records. Maya's jaw tightened. For the first time, the trap was no longer only about land. It was about memory. About taking something decent and twisting it until greed could wear its face. Nathan reached for the token, then stopped. He left his hand open on the table. Maya looked at it, then placed the silver in his palm. Their fingers touched. Neither moved. The contact lasted only a second, but it carried more than either wanted to name. Nathan closed his hand around the token. My father meant this to keep people safe. Maya watched him, and Whitmore used it to make me property. Nathan looked toward the stove. The ledger sat nearby. For a moment, anger moved across his face. Not loud anger. The dangerous kind. Contained. Maya saw it, and strangely, she was not afraid. Nathan spoke quietly. He picked the wrong promise to corrupt. Outside, wind moved through the cottonwoods. The silver token rested in his hand. Yesterday, it had looked like part of the trap. Now it was something else. Evidence. Memory. A bridge between two families. And perhaps the first thing powerful enough to break the lie before sundown. Freedom came for Maya at noon. Not with gunfire. Not with a war party. With 6 riders moving slowly through the cottonwoods. Nathan saw them first. Apache. They stopped beyond the fence and waited. No shouting. No rifles raised. Only silence. Maya stepped onto the porch. Her face changed when she saw the man in front. Gray hawk. Older. Now than the story she remembered. Broad shoulders beneath a weathered blanket. Silver in his hair. Eyes that missed nothing. He dismounted. The others remained mounted. Nathan stayed near the porch rail. Far enough away. Close enough to hear. Greyhawk looked at Maya first. Then Nathan. Did he keep you here? The question was simple. Maya looked toward Nathan. He did not move. Did not defend himself. Did not answer for her. That mattered. No, she said. Greyhawk studied her face. Did he hurt you? No. Did he ask payment? Maya's eyes lowered for a moment. No. Greyhawk nodded once. Then come home. The word should have felt like relief. Instead, something tightened inside her. Nathan went into the house. For one strange second, Maya thought he was leaving because he could not watch. Then he returned. The silver token rested in his palm. He walked toward her, stopped at arm's length. This belongs with you. Maya looked at the token, then at him. You should keep it. Nathan shook his head. My father made the promise. He placed the silver in her hand. You carried the cost. Maya closed her fingers around it. She waited. For something. One word. One reason. Anything. Stay. Don't go. Come back. Nathan said none of them. Greyhawk mounted his horse. Maya walked toward the bay mare. Her saddle was already packed. Nathan had prepared it before the riders arrived. That hurt more than it should have. He had even filled the canteen. Of course he had. Maya tightened one strap. Then another. You knew I would leave. Nathan stood beside the fence. I knew you should be able to. That is not what I asked. Nathan met her eyes. The afternoon wind carried dust between them. No, Maya waited again. Still nothing. Anger rose because disappointment was harder to admit. She mounted. Nathan rested one hand on the mare's neck. Take the north trail. She looked down at him. Why? Whitmore's men are watching the east. Always practical. Always careful. Never enough. Maya turned the horse. The Apache riders moved ahead. She followed. At the edge of the ranch, she looked back once. Nathan was still beside the fence. Hat low. One hand resting on the weathered wood. Small beneath the empty Arizona sky. He did not wave. Maya faced forward. The ranch disappeared behind the ridge. She should have felt free. Instead, every mile felt heavier. By sunset, they stopped near a dry creek. Greyhawk built no fire. Maya sat apart from the others, turning the silver token between her fingers. A promise of shelter. A promise without price. She thought of bitter coffee made sweeter the next morning. A blanket placed over a shivering horse. A loaded revolver pushed toward her instead of pointed at her. Then she understood what Nathan had done. He had never asked her to stay because asking would have placed another weight on a choice already burdened by too many men. Maya looked toward the darkening western sky. Greyhawk noticed. You left something behind. Maya closed her hand around the token. No, her voice was quiet. I left before I knew what I wanted. And for the first time since arriving at Nathan Cole's ranch, the road home felt like the wrong direction. Silas Whitmore arrived at Nathan Cole's ranch, believing the hardest part was already over. Maya was gone. The Apache riders had taken her west. The woman he had used to poison Nathan's name was no longer there to speak against him. By late afternoon, Whitmore came through the gate with a deputy, 2 hired men, and a folded land claim tucked beneath his coat. Nathan waited on the porch. Alone. At least that was what Whitmore thought. Dust hung low across the yard. The cottonwoods barely moved. Even the horses seemed quiet. Whitmore dismounted. Cole. Nathan leaned against the porch post. You're early. I've waited long enough. Whitmore handed the papers to Deputy Harris. The deputy looked uncomfortable. Claim states failure to maintain collateral tied to secured debt. Nathan's eyes settled on Whitmore. You mean Maya? Whitmore smiled. I mean property. Nathan's jaw tightened, but his hand never moved toward his revolver. Whitmore noticed. So did the deputy. That woman left your possession, Whitmore continued. You violated the agreement. The ranch transfers against what you owe. Nathan looked at the paper, then at the road behind them. You sure about that? Whitmore's smile faded. Hoofbeats came from the north. Slow. Measured. Not many. 12 riders appeared through the dust. Apache. Greyhawk rode at the front. Maya rode beside him. Whitmore went pale, but it was the wagon behind them that frightened him most. A town clerk sat beside the driver. 2 neighboring ranchers followed on horseback. Witnesses. Not warriors. Witnesses. Maya dismounted before the horse fully stopped. Nathan did not move toward her. Neither smiled. Not yet. The clerk stepped down holding a thick leather folder. I found the original filing. Whitmore's voice sharpened. You had no authority. I have every authority to examine county records. The clerk opened the folder. Nathan watched Whitmore's face. That was where the truth appeared first. Not in the papers. In fear. The clerk pulled out 2 pages. Original debt agreement between Silas Whitmore and Nathan Cole. He held up the first. No human collateral listed. Then the second. Original transfer records involving Apache trading accounts. He paused. No transfer of Maya. No $600 payment. Maya reached into her pocket. The silver token caught the late sunlight. And this? The clerk examined it. Nathan handed him his father's letter. The old paper trembled slightly in the man's hands as he read. Whitmore took 1 step backward. Greyhawk said nothing. The 12 Apache riders remained still. No weapons raised. They did not need them. The truth had already surrounded Whitmore. The clerk looked up. This token was a protection marker. Nathan nodded. Not ownership. Maya's voice was quiet. Whitmore turned toward the deputy. Harris, seize the ranch. The deputy did not move. Whitmore's face hardened. That is an order. No, Harris said. He removed his hand from his gun belt. That was a lie. Silence fell across the yard. Whitmore looked around. At Nathan. At Maya. At the clerk. At men who had once believed his papers because nobody had challenged them. Now everyone had. Whitmore's power disappeared without a single shot. The deputy took the false ledger from his hands. Nathan finally stepped down from the porch. Whitmore stared at him. You think you won? Nathan looked past him toward Maya. Then back. No, his voice stayed low. You just ran out of people willing to believe you. Whitmore was led toward the wagon. Nobody cheered. Nobody needed to. Maya stood near the gate, the silver token warm in her palm. Nathan remained several steps away. The ranch was still his. She was still free. And for the first time, there was nothing between them that belonged to Silas Whitmore. By morning, the ranch looked exactly as it had before. Same fence, same barn, same cottonwoods moving in the dry wind. But nothing felt the same. Silas Whitmore was gone. The false ledger was gone. The claim against Nathan's land was finished. And Maya was free. Truly free. No road blocked. No contract waiting. No man holding a paper that pretended to decide where she belonged. Nathan stood on the porch with 2 cups of coffee. He had put sugar in hers. Of course he had. Maya noticed. Of course she did. For a while, neither spoke. The Apache riders had camped near the creek overnight. Greyhawk would leave before noon. Maya could go with them. Nathan knew that. Maya knew he knew. That made the silence heavier. She reached into her pocket and placed the silver token on the porch rail. Nathan looked at it. Then at her. I owe you nothing, Maya said. Nathan's expression did not change. I know. She watched him carefully. No disappointment. No expectation. No hidden bargain waiting behind his eyes. Just that same infuriating calm. Maya almost smiled. Good. Nathan took a sip of coffee. The wind moved a strand of black hair across her cheek. She pushed it back. You never asked. Nathan lowered the cup. Asked what? For me to stay. He looked toward the pasture. A young mare moved along the fence line. No blanket needed now in the morning warmth. Nathan took his time before answering. You had enough men deciding things for you. Maya looked down at the silver token. That is not an answer. It's the only one I had. She turned toward him. And if I had gone, Nathan's jaw tightened slightly. I would have watched you go. The truth of it hurt and comforted her. At the same time, Maya stepped closer. One day, she said, you may learn that silence can be cruel too. Nathan looked at her then. Really looked. Something passed between them that had been growing quietly since the first night. Since the gun on the crate. Since bitter coffee. Since the blanket. Since the road west. Nathan opened his mouth. Maya raised one hand. No, he stopped. Her eyes softened. This time I speak first. Nathan waited. Maya glanced toward the creek where Gray Hawk was saddling his horse. Then toward the eastern trail. Then back at Nathan. The debt is finished. Yes. The lie is finished. Yes. And I can leave. Nathan's voice dropped. Yes. Maya nodded. Then you will understand why I am staying. Nathan did not move. For once, the man who always seemed to have an answer had none. Maya smiled. Not small this time. Not almost. A real smile. Nathan looked down at the second cup in his hand, then held it toward her. She took it. Their fingers touched. This time, neither pulled away quickly. From the creek came the sound of Gray Hawk mounting. Maya turned. The older man looked toward her. No question. No command. He simply nodded once, then rode west with the others. Maya watched until the dust faded. Nathan stood beside her. Not in front. Not behind. Beside. Later that morning, he carried the false debt papers to the stove. Maya watched the flame catch the edges. Ink curled. Numbers blackened. Names disappeared. $600. Collateral. Property. All of it turned to ash. Nathan closed the stove door. When he turned back, Maya had placed a small bundle beside the doorway. Not much. A blanket. A leather pouch. A change of clothes. Enough to leave. Enough to stay. Nathan looked at the bundle. Then at her. Maya lifted her coffee. Do not make meaning from it. Nathan's mouth moved into the faintest smile. I wasn't planning to. Outside, two horses stood beneath the cottonwoods. The silver token rested on the windowsill, catching the morning light. Once, it had been used to turn a woman into payment. Now it meant what it had always been meant to mean. Shelter. Without price. Nothing owed. Nothing owned. And this time, when Maya stayed at Nathan Cole's ranch, no debt in Arizona had anything to do with it.